Welcome. In this final video in our section or our module on marketing and market planning for ventures, we're going to talk about the pricing strategies and selling itself. These are more micro. We closed off our discussion of the dynamics of the market. This is more micro about how you succeed in the specific choices that are being made as in your business as you go forward. Pricing in particular, and then a little bit on selling to close out our discussion. How does one price new products? Well, there's a few things to make sure that you're clear on. One is you want to make sure that you understand what it costs to make your product. That is your fixed cost if you buy equipment and the like, and you can make a lot of products from it. Also the employees and all of that you have, but also your variable cost, what the components of your parts are, how much that costs to bring together. If it's a restaurant, your fixed cost is the cost of the restaurant and the staff, etc. And your variable costs are the actual food costs and the cost to cook and prepare the food and deliver the food to the tables and the like, or any delivery costs associated with it. So that's what you want to figure out so that you know what your pricing needs to be in order for you to make an adequate profit. You also have to then understand what the market conditions are, what competitors are paying, what people are willing to pay for their purchases, so that your price is neither too high nor too low. To be too high if you're pricing beyond what competitors are pricing for the same product, in which case customers don't tell you your prices are too high, they just stop coming. So you need to do this work on your own. Or you might price too low where your value is quite high and people would pay more, but you're pricing too low and leaving profit on the table. Again, a risk there is sometimes if you're a restaurant and you're too busy, you raise your prices and that irritates the customers. So it's not necessarily that you're busy, it's what will the actual value be, and are people willing to pay you a little bit more for that value? Have to understand that. You have to also understand how customers value various attributes of your product. Restaurants, oftentimes it's the food, but it's also oftentimes the ambiance of a nice place to eat. Sometimes it's even how well the service is handled, service, ambiance, and food. Maybe they value them differently, but if your food quality goes down, they may all of a sudden think you're overpriced or whatever. Or if your service goes down, the same sort of thing that can happen. Or the service going down may not affect them at all if the food is that good. Right? So that's what you have to be understanding, and that can be done with a good deal of market research. People do that. The other thing that's absolutely critical to remember is you don't always sell products at the retail price. Sometimes you discount them at special times. There's also returns and the like from costs and etc. You have to have what you're charging, the list price, but what the actual price that people will pay will be after all discounting and returns and the like, because that's really the amount of revenue that you can count on for which you have to recover and your costs and make a profit. So those are things to keep in mind as you make pricing decisions about your business and your products and services going forward. A final word here in this series, this module on marketing, we'll just go in a little bit in selling, which is really an entirely different field. But oftentimes entrepreneurs find themselves in the position of doing sales, even though they've never done sales. But if you're going to get someone to buy your product, you have to sell. So here's some things to keep in mind. It's important that customers know about you and are interested. Your product or service has to be something that piques their interest. Generally, that means they have a need or a problem, and you have a potential solution. If someone has a problem and there's a potential solution out there, they're interested. So that's information out there to them that they know you exist, so they're interested. You also then have to understand what it is they want, what they're trying to accomplish, what their requirements are. You do that again in this dialogue process of understanding their issues. They're going to be resistive. They're not confident. They don't have complete trust in you, so they'll ask you questions. After they are interested in you from being aware of what you're doing, after you've explored their requirements, they're not going to be completely sure that your solution overcomes their problems, and they're going to have some questions, or as they say, overcoming objections. Sounds good to me, but I'm not sure your quality is there. Sounds good to me, but can you deliver it to me by Friday? These sorts of objections that are all part of this, all the attributes of your product. One by one, you knock them down and say, yes, indeed, we can solve these various problems. And that's how you get them interested, you get them to, you understand them and you're actually solving their problem, and then you get them to know and agree and trust that you will solve their problem, and then you have to close the sale. And this really typically means going to close, which means a closing statement which says, will you buy from me? That's why you hear politicians say, I want your vote. Go out and vote for me. You have to close the sale. It's funny, oftentimes this is the hardest part, it is for me, for selling, is to actually ask them to do something for you. Please sign this paperwork. Here it is, sign this paperwork. Let's close the deal. Bring that over to the desk and let's ring you up, right? Closing the sale. You have to get to the close. Otherwise, tomorrow they can come back, right? You get to the close, and this is where the sort of hard sell comes in. If you're an entrepreneur and you're out, you have to sell. Sometimes you have to sell by hiring people and convincing them to come work for you. There's other possibilities or other reasons for sales as well. So congratulations. This is the very end now of this marketing module. You've managed to go through all these various pieces and hopefully went through some of the quizzes and have learned something or have some material to think about, that will help you as you develop your business going forward. Good luck with your ventures, and good luck as an entrepreneur.